Good morning, Francesca. How are you?
Good morning, Eric. I'm really very well, thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Welcome to the Cruxcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm absolutely delighted. I've been watching several of your Cruxcasts, and it's always intriguing. So I was very delighted to be invited to join you today.
Oh, super. Yeah, thanks for being with us. Now, for anyone who follows you on social media, they will notice that the accent doesn't match the pictures that you post.
No.
so I'm getting strong Glaswegian, but you don't live in Glasgow.
No. And brought up in Coatbridge, and it's interesting you say I've got a strong Glaswegian accent, because most people would say here in Andorra, where I'm living now, people often think I'm Irish, and I don't really know where that comes from, but I suppose there is that kind of crossover in the west of Scotland. But yeah, I've been living in Andorra for 2 years now, so moved over here.
And most people will know where Andorra is and what it's all about, but
you'd be surprised.
Yeah. But it's not a place that stands out as, one day I'm going to live there. What took you there?
No, I think the truth of the matter was, I think both my husband and I, we had itchy feet. We'd both kind of had a fairly linear kind of track through university, careers, bit of retraining, but just kind of muddled on through. We never did any traveling, except, we went off on holidays and whatnot, and went to some interesting places, but had always had a bit of an itchy, wouldn't it be nice to live somewhere else? What would that be like? And then one day we just thought, actually the way that we were both working, both self-employed, a lot of the work I was doing from home anyway. He could be quite flexible. We thought, why don't we go and try somewhere different? So really it was about looking around for somewhere where the weather was good, where we could ski, but also have nice summers, but also commutable from the UK where we were working as well, so we could get backwards and forwards as we needed to. So, and it was funny because we just started kind of pitched up on a list and thought, where's that? Don't really know where that is. Let's go and have, we went for a break in the summer, and it was really great. And then we came back to ski, and just like, it's a really easy place to live, as someone coming from the UK. So we haven't looked back. It's been fabulous. We've had a great time.
Very good. And how is Andorra coping with COVID and lockdowns and all of that? How's it presenting itself there?
It's been not too bad. I mean, initially we had quite a hard lockdown. So really, we didn't have the daily walks that you guys had in the UK. Unless you had a dog, and folk were fighting to get dogs. It was, you're in, don't go out except for essentials, and online shopping if you can. We weren't so great in the shopping in Catalan, so we very quickly realised we were going to have to go to the supermarket. But we did that carefully, and we did it only as frequently as we needed to. So that was the first kind of March into beginning of June, and then beginning of June everything kind of went fairly back to normal. School was online for the kids, which was great, and it's been a wee bit kind of up and down. So we wear masks out and about. A lot of that's because we've got huge numbers of tourists coming in over the summer. Yeah. So it's kind of just trying to manage that situation. And bars are closed just now, but they should be opening up again this week. So it's been a bit up and down, but I think we had a harder lockdown to start with, but it eased off quicker than it did for you guys. So, and working from home for me, it wasn't massively different, to be absolutely honest. Yeah. I quite like being in the house, or just heading off to the mountains where there are no people. So
how's your Catalan?
Oh, it's appalling.
Not the easiest language to learn, right?
It's not. And I had some Spanish and French to start with. So and the kids they're 2 years later, they're now fluent in Spanish. So I'm ashamed by my level of Spanish compared to theirs. But it's easier to kind of go with Spanish. And pretty much people here speak Spanish, French and Catalan as well. So we can get by if they don't speak English. But there's plenty of English speakers too. So we get there in the end, My goodness. Good stuff. I love it. And the photographs that you post, just chilling out, having a cup of coffee with those mountains behind you and the greenery. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I kind of pinch myself most days how lucky I am.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the winter ones as well. I'm looking forward to seeing those. This will be even better, I'd imagine. Now, the reason you're with us is there's a kind of theme that's grown out into the Cruxcast, which is people that have maybe not necessarily in life followed a certain path and then veered off one direction or another, maybe just in thought or in opinions or whatever. But your story I find fascinating. I'm interested in sliding doors, what was and what might have been. So you started out life as you got into pharmacy, right?
I did, and it was interesting because I kind of, that decision to do a pharmacy degree, I guess it was a bit of that would be a good degree to do and you'd be able to get a job at the end of it. And it wasn't something I had particularly been interested in. I was interested in languages, I was interested in music, and but I guess that it was at that point in the early 90s, it was like, okay, that's a way that you can go, and that's a good career. People said to me,
but there was no family link or nothing like that.
No,
it just came out of careers.
A couple of people that I knew who had, they're a little bit older than me, and they were kind of walking into jobs, and others weren't. And I thought, that looks like a sensible way to go. But it certainly wasn't what my intention was. Out of 5th year of school, I was planning on doing wildly different things to what I ended up doing out of 6th year. So so I kind of went down that route and started out, once I qualified, well, I'd worked with Boots, Saturday girl in Coatbridge from the age of 16, and then went straight into a pharmacist job with Boots when I qualified. So that was that was how that went, and it was fine. It was fine, And for me, that's the kind of theme that's run through everything I've done within my career. The thing for me was about the people. I loved being that kind of on the counter, advising people, talking to people, finding out what's going on for them, seeing what they need and how we can kind of make them feel better, I guess. So
which very much pulls through into what you're doing for a career right now, right? Which is what this is all about.
And interestingly, my first introduction to coaching was, I remember, as a newly qualified pharmacist working with Boots. I was working in Byres Road in Glasgow, which was quite the education in itself. You'd learn a lot there. And but that was the first place we had coaching training there. So that was 97, 98. And I was trained in coaching at that point, and I remember finding it really useful because fresh out the box, I've got all these really experienced staff working with me, but I'm in charge and I'm having to tell them what to do. And it didn't come easily to me. So actually using that kind of coaching, okay, well, how could we do this? And what are the challenges with this? That for me, immediately I could see the power of that for people. And right through my career, it's something that I've trained in, I've developed, and obviously now I'm now doing that as part of my work.
Absolutely. So when was there a conscious shift to okay, you had a bit of a dipping your toe in the water as a pharmacist and doing a bit of coaching and all that for the team, but when did it start to crystallize in your mind that coaching might be something that you actually might want to do for a living with businesses?
When I left the NHS 2016 to set up my own consultancy business, and the biggest frustration I had within that was that people don't do what you tell them that they should be doing.
Right.
And so immediately I came back to coaching and using that as a skill and using that as a tool to actually get improvement within the services that I was helping. And the more then I was at that point, I was like, I need to be doing this well. And I was really digging into it and thinking, this stuff, I love this stuff. It's just that whole thing about the people side of thing that is really important to me and what I do. And I was so much more passionate about that than anything else that I was doing. Really interested in the other stuff that I was doing and getting really good results. But this stuff, I was like, this is brilliant. This is really, and with hindsight, maybe that's a road I should have taken early on. But, you are where you are. Yeah. And I thought, right, I'm going to do some accredited training for this. And I did a course in 2019. And then this year I've done an ICF accredited course. And I'm working towards my ICF accreditation now. And that's been so powerful. The biggest thing about doing that training is how much you actually learn about yourself. It's quite incredible.
I bet. So who is the ideal kind of client for you? What do you go after a particular sector? Or are you completely open to anyone who?
I am completely open. I think the reality is, as a natural kind of slide over from what I was doing, I do have coaching clients within pharma and healthcare sectors, because that was people that knew me through my consultancy work and knew my style and knew the way I work. So that's been quite a nice transfer over. But I have clients from banking and finance. I've got clients who are in what other sectors? I mean, it's quite broad in education, in shipping, in a variety of different sectors. And what I find really interesting is my coaching style is very much ask, don't tell. Because if I tell you what to do, it'll either resonate for you or it won't. And most of the time it won't. So right. If my clients are in a sector that I don't really know about, I can easily be completely unbiased.
Yeah.
I don't come with any preconceptions about what they could do that would make their situation better. The people skills and the leadership skills and all these things, that's the same whatever you're going. But for the specific issues that people come in terms of the challenges in their businesses, the less I know about it, the better I can be as a coach.
Cool. I love that.
So my clients come from a really, really kind of broad spectrum. And I love that because I get to meet all these different people with these really different experiences and find out about them and really kind of pull that out of them. So I really enjoy it.
Good stuff. I had one of my colleagues actually at DLA, Adam Gray, made a beautiful comment yesterday when he said, because it was the subject of coaching and how we were having the discussion, how there are loads of people that have got to a certain position in their life where they wouldn't even consider coaching because they're fantastic at what they do, at the top of their game and all of that. And he said, but tell that to Rafa Nadal or Djokovic, who look up to their coaching boxes when they're in the final. Yeah. And that whole question of, does the coach have to be better at the thing than the person that they're coaching? Absolutely not. They need to come at it from a different angle, right?
I just have to be good at coaching.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So on that subject, if you were to define what you actually do, what coaching means for your clients and the relationship you have with your clients and what the sort of objectives are, how would you describe what it is? What does a coach do for a business leader?
Really what I do is I guess I ask the right questions and then I hold the space for the person to find the answers to those questions. I have been told numerous times that I make people uncomfortable in a good way. And I think that's my role. It's not to say that, oh, this is great or that's great. Some of it's about creating awareness. Some of it's about, I might see something, whether that's a shift in their energy or I can just sense, in their body language that, okay, what's going on for you there? Why did that make you uncomfortable? Or did that make you uncomfortable? So it's finding out what is going on for you within that and getting people to really dig deep. It is about creating awareness. I think that numerous times, that I can think of where people start to go, oh God, that's, oh, it's that,
Yeah.
But the crux of it is, no pun intended there at all.
Beautifully put.
Is that coaching is really forward-looking. It's about finding we do go back naturally. People will look back into, oh, well, I did this and did that. And we look at what's worked in the past and what hasn't. But it's not in that kind of counselling vein. It's really about digging into the past. It's about thinking, right, okay, where are we at? What do we need to do to start moving forward, to take positive action, to try different things? And about building the confidence to try different things or have just, take risks. And I'm all about the taking risks now. So, but so that kind of encompasses it. It wasn't very articulate, was it? But it really is that kind of forward focused thing.
No, I like it. It's having been, okay, maybe not at the level of some of your clients, but having been in a leadership position and leadership positions, I know that it's very, very easy to lose 6 months or a year just with your head down in the weeds, in the problems, sorting out stuff, sales, marketing, finance, banking, HR, all these things. And before you know it, it's January, you've blinked and now it's June and you still haven't had a chance to breathe. So I think I think what you're telling us that you do is that you lift the heads up and
do. And it's about taking that time, taking that space to really sort of look at things more objectively, because you're right, we do get the head down and we just keep going. And sometimes we're going in the right direction, and if we can figure out, that is working and that's good, and maybe we tweak some things, great. And often though it's, do you know what, we need to shift focus, right? Where are we going to go? And that's been really interesting throughout COVID, because it has all about being about shifting focus, trying different things, new ways of working, bringing people on board with new ways of working. For some people, it's been completely diversifying what they do. it's been hugely interesting for me to be part of that journey with so many different businesses and business owners.
Yeah, very good, very good. And I guess you put some of your own theory into practice in 2019, because I was reading your blog about the injury and how you made a sort of pivotal decision about what you were going to do, which kind of defined what you're doing now and sort of laid out the path for it. What happened?
Oh, well, very early in our first ski season here. I love skiing, but it doesn't necessarily love me.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
And I've not, I'm not one of these folk that just hits the slopes every season and it's great. I have to work back up to it. And with two kids who are like firing down black slopes, it's there's. Yeah. I try and push myself a bit more. But anyway, on a very beautiful day that was a bit icy, I was moving extremely slowly and decided I thought, I don't like the look of that bit, turned and just ski went off, didn't come off, and ripped my cruciate ligament and another ligament in my leg. So literally I was floored, living in this country where I didn't speak enough of the language. The number of doctors who don't speak English here was quite interesting to me at that point in time. Yeah. Thankfully, my wonderful neighbour does speak English and helped me navigate the whole system. But and I was out and I couldn't travel for work, which is what I've been doing. I've been coming back and forth every 4 to 6 weeks. And I had to really sort of shift and think, okay, what am I going to do with my business here? How am I going to keep maintaining income here and keep doing what I'm doing? So much of that was down to mindset though, because it was really, I thought I could either sink or swim here. I could lie on the couch, watch the telly, not do anything, or just get on with it and do the physio every day. I mean, I've never been so fit in my whole life.
Really?
Insane. Yeah, down at the gym every day with the physio. That's the standard here, is that you go every day and you have physio, but it's exercise physio. You're. So it was great. It was good for me in that respect. But it did cause that shift in terms of, right, okay, what am I doing in my business? How am I taking that focus? What do I love about my business? Because if I have to be doing the things that are really, that I'm enjoying, the things that are important to me, the things that mean the most to me. And that was a real, having been somebody that's just like, you work for the salary and then it's like we go through the business and it's like, okay, we take on the clients, that to actually start to say, like, no, I'm not going to do that bit anymore. I know I can, and I know I'm going to get paid well for it, but really, if I can focus on the stuff that I love doing. So I still do my consultancy work, but actually it's the bits that I like with the clients that I like.
I've just written that down because I love a quote, and the things that are important to me, the things that mean the most to me, just struck out there. That was a cracker.
Yeah. We can spend so much time focusing on things that just that are really, they may. I think you get to that point in life where you recognize, and I think we've had a conversation about this before, a text conversation about this before, when you actually realize what's important. Yep. Is it the big job with the big salary coming in and all that stuff, or is it actually time and doing the things that really give you a buzz and really getting as much as you can out of life? So it was a real shifting point there as well, and I kind of got back to my singing as well at that point. We've talked about that before, but that was really important to me from a creative point of view, something that was just for me, just for fun. So really kind of shifting that balance. It was pivotal. I do look back at my injury with, I'm glad it happened. In its way, I'm glad it happened.
Are you able to ski?
Yeah, I can. I didn't in the end get surgery because I was so very good at going to my physio. Because I have a tiny bit of my cruciate still attached. So, but I have to wear a brace when I'm skiing. But that gives me the confidence as well. So that's fine. I know what I need. And I ski with a brace, and that's fine. And I don't do anything crazy. And if my children ask me to go off and do something daft, I'm like, I'll see you around the other side.
See you on the other side. Now, don't think for a second that we're managing to scoot over the fact that I got back to my singing. Let's rewind and back up a little bit and just go over that, because you put a post up recently, which I just saw this morning. I'm really sorry. I just saw it when I went back into my wee look over. But you've actually put up a nice video of what you do in your spare time with the band.
I did.
Tell us about that.
And it was interesting because it's not something that I really shared very widely. I guess there was a part of me that is the very professional part of me that thinks, people don't want to know about the things that I do in my spare time, but yeah, so I sing with a group here in Andorra. I've always sung at school in choirs and you know, did a bit of kind of singing at wedding ceremonies and things in the UK, but it's never anything that I pursued seriously, despite the fact that I absolutely loved it. It's my very, very favourite thing to do. And I came here when I'd fallen. I thought, what am I going to do that's going to just give me? I can do it without, but I can do it on crutches. I can definitely sing on crutches. Mm-hmm. So I started getting some lessons again because I'd had a couple of problems with my vocal cords, and met my wonderful friend Suzanne Georgie, who invited me to, when there was an opening in her group, she invited me to join, and I did. So we do this sort of swing music. We do concerts. We had, to be fair, most of our concerts this year have been cancelled, but we've had a few, and it's great. It's just so much fun, particularly when we sing with the band, which is the clip I put on. We had the band with us.
Oh, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. And in the right context, that how can you not enjoy a bit of that at a party or something like that? It's just brilliant.
Yeah, just that's brilliant. It. It's great fun.
Good stuff. So back to coaching. We're approaching the end. We've only got a few minutes left. Just interested in, it's always nice to offer a wee bit of advice to business leaders out there who are struggling a little bit, that have got the weight of the world on their shoulders, entire businesses looking at them for guidance and all of that. It's absolutely acceptable that people might be feeling the pressure a little bit. What, as a coach, I'm looking for a freebie here. What would some advice be that you could give to business leaders right now that comes from your coaching background that would help at least?
So one of the things that's come up time and again over the past few months, and because I in terms of looking at people's performance, I do that very holistically. It's not just let's push on, let's do our best. For me, resilience is very much about recognizing, okay, when do I need to slow down? When do I need to step back? When do I need to take a pause? And really looking broadly at how you're operating. So we would push on in our business, and you can be working 12 hours a day, not actually taking time out to look after yourself. And I would say that's been the key thing that I've noticed, particularly when people are working from home. It's very easy to get stuck in your laptop. We don't have that break where we're traveling to or from the office where you might decompress, and often those, the thing is, when we start to relax and when we do things that are just more enjoyable, we really kind of get into what we call system 2 thinking. So system 1, very reactive, very much just keep going. And
is this thinking fast, thinking slow?
It's that stuff, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's that so it's taking that time out. And it's interesting because somebody said to me, I do like your posts, but you don't seem to do very much. You seem to be off out enjoying yourself all the time. I think, well, I'm not always out. I mean, I enjoy my work, but I think for me, I know how important it is to have that time to step away, whether that's 10, 15 minutes to get outside or just to go and have coffee, read a book, just take yourself out of that zone, because inevitably, if you come back to a challenge refreshed, you'll have a new set of eyes on it and you'll have a different perspective on it. And it's going to be easier to work your way through it. But if we keep on driving through, you're going to get stuck in the mud with it.
Absolutely.
So that would be my one piece of advice. I tend not to advise, but that one is often something that comes up. I'll ask, how are you taking time for yourself within this? How are you keeping at your best? Whether that's exercise, are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating properly? All that stuff matters.
Totally. I got into a rhythm a few years back, maybe about 5-6 years ago, where I was constantly doing adventure runs, marathons, and funny things and crazy things. But I didn't actually realize that the weekly, we were doing something every week. It might have been a 100-mile bike race, or it might have been an ultra marathon up in mountains or something. It would have been something every weekend. But I didn't actually realize what that was giving me. I was just doing it, right? That was just part of my life. So when that kind of stopped a little bit, and I slowed down because I'm getting older, 50 on January the 1st. How can that be a thing? 50 on January the 1st. But first baby born in Scotland on January the 1st, 1971. Just chucking that in there in case anybody wants to send a gift. But I realized that what I was getting from that was way more than a calorie burner. Mm-hmm. So I found out only, I would say, probably about 18 months ago that it's really important for me up here to be in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the smell of trees and just grass and being up in the hills, just walking about, just being up on a mountain bike, but not necessarily trying to kill myself on a mountain bike, but actually just being in rocks and trees is actually super important for me, just even for half an hour. Even for half an hour, just so important. But I didn't actually realize it back then that I was getting more than just fitness out of what I was doing. It was being outside, it was being in the wild. It was really important for up here.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I need that too.
It's very much
so good for you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you've got fortunately for you, you've got a slightly better view and amenities out your back door than I do.
No, well, yeah, I know. I do. As I said, I do pinch myself. It's fantastic, and the weather generally is pretty good. I think it's 300 sunny days a year we get, and that's just tremendous, for me, for the heads. So I don't worry about the old seasonal affective disorder as the clocks go back now.
No, I bet you don't. My goodness. Right, we are approaching the end. I'm going to do this just because I think it'll make his day. But we have to mention James Brewster, right? Just
Indeed.
Towards the end, we have to mention James.
Lovely James.
We both know James. I think you know James a bit better than I do. But you've worked with James before, and you've met him a few times. Yeah, and still talk to him regularly.
I do, yes. So James is quite open about the fact that he's one of my clients. That's something that he shares. He's a great guy, really good guy. So good at the old social media. I mean, I find social media still a bit terrifying, but I just keep watching James for inspiration. He
reminds me of it must feel a bit like watching James. To some people, must feel a bit like when the Sex Pistols came on the scene.
Well, do you know, I'm certain I'll never get to that level, but he just throws himself into it.
Absolutely. There's lessons for us all there. So there we did it. We mentioned Brewster, right? You got your mention, and if he watches this to the end, but we won't tell him. We'll leave it. We'll just leave it. Listen, how can people get a hold of you, Francesca?
Well, obviously, I will be sharing this on my LinkedIn profile, so it's through LinkedIn, and at ascensocoaching.com.
And you're up for a chat? Anyone who just wants a confidential chat about things?
I mean, I think the important thing is to have an initial conversation with people about what they might want to deal with. Make sure it's something that I can support them with, and make sure that we're a good fit as well. The reality is, it's a very, very it becomes quite an intimate relationship with people, and it's a very confidential relationship, but they have to feel like that they can share. So that kind of chemistry check, I guess, make sure that you're going to be able to have a kind of the best kind of coaching relationship you can with somebody is really important. So I do coaching session, like a kind of trial coaching session with people, so they can get a sense of my style as well, because it's not what everybody wants, to be kept asking questions all the time and not giving you the answers. So.
Not giving the answers. This isn't what I wanted. Just tell me what to do.
That happens a lot.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you today. Can't wait to put this out. We'll put this out on Friday, and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you so much, Eric. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.